Fisher on AFR Talk.
Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point, AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Program is Focal Point. The network is the American Family Radio Talk Network. You just heard Buster on that spot talking about this family that got raided. I'm looking at the story right here. I had it in the stack yesterday and didn't get to it other than making a brief mention of it. This was a house that was raided by the New Jersey Police Department and the Department of Children and Families. And they raided the home of a certified firearms instructor, and they demanded to see his guns, busted into his home. And the basis for this, the entire basis on which the New Jersey Police Department and the Department of Children and Families raided his home, was because he had posted on his personal Facebook page a photograph of his smiling 11-year-old son holding a birthday present, a hunting rifle. Now you look at the kid. I'm looking at the picture of the kid right here. He's got the biggest grin on his face. He's wearing camo. This kid is happier than a pig in slop. Now, his father was a certified firearms instructor, had trained his son in the use of guns. The kid is pumped. He's 11. His dad has bought him this firearm for his birthday. And the next thing that they know is like a SWAT team's at his house, and they're demanding to see his gun safe. They're demanding to see his guns. They're demanding to search his house, and they are threatening to take his kids as if their safety had been endangered in some way. Well, the only people that were endangering the safety of his kids were this SWAT team and the New Jersey Department of Children and Families. Now, the Department of Children and Families, they've gone to ground. They won't admit or deny that they launched this raid. But this is an interesting thing to me. This is part of the problem we've got right now with Child Protective Services. Here's what their spokesman admitted. Her name is Kristen Brown, using spokesman in the generic sense. The department has a child abuse hotline for the state of New Jersey, and anybody can make a call to that hotline. We are required to follow up on every single allegation that comes in to the central registry. In general, our role is to investigate allegations of child abuse and neglect. Now, where was the allegation of child abuse, and how would you get an allegation of child abuse or neglect from the picture of a kid who is smiling like the Cheshire Cat because he just got a gift for his birthday? He looks great. He looks happy. He's pleased as punch. He's happy as a clam. Where is the abuse? Where is the neglect? And yet the next thing you know, there's this SWAT team landing on this house. No search warrant, no nothing. His wife, let's see. He got an urgent text message from his wife that the police department was there. So he calls the family attorney and races home, and he found the officers in his house, and they want to know where his gun safe was and where his guns were. And so he just handed his cell phone with his attorney on the other end to the officers. And what his attorney said, look, if you got a warrant, you're coming in. If you don't, then you're out of there. That's what privacy and the Fourth Amendment is all about. And so the homeowner instructed the police officers to leave his house. And they told him that he was the one that was being unreasonable, that he was the one that was acting suspicious because he wouldn't open the safe. He wouldn't let them raid his house without a search warrant. And they're saying he's the one that's acting suspiciously. Can you believe that they are trampling all over his constitutional rights? And they have the audacity to accuse him of being the one that's engaged in suspicious activity. And they said, well, they got kind of grumpy and huffy and said, we're going to go get a search warrant. He said, go ahead, knock yourself out. They never came back. They couldn't get a search warrant. They had absolutely nothing. You got armed people in this guy's house demanding to search it with no probable cause, no warrant, no justification, based entirely on an anonymous tip to a child abuse hotline. And, they can't even prosecute somebody. The spokesman said that the person, even though this was a completely false allegation of abuse, the individual who made the false allegation cannot be prosecuted. You can't even be prosecuted for a false allegation of child abuse. Even if it's false and it's knowingly false, and they know that you lied and you made it up and you had no foundation in fact, they cannot prosecute you. Do you realize how vulnerable that makes parents today? Anybody can call Child Protective Services and make an utterly unfounded complaint against you for abuse or neglect, and the cops are going to show up. Next thing you know, the cops are going to show up at your door and want to raid your house, want to search your house. It's deplorable. One of the things that the Constitution is very clear about is that you cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property apart from due process of law, and part of that involves facing your accuser in open court. The fact that your house could be invaded based on an absolutely anonymous tip, you've got no awareness of the identity of the person that has made the complaint against you. But the Constitution says you must have the opportunity to face your accuser in open court before anything like that can happen. What we've done with Child Protective Services, in my mind, is an absolute, total, utter travesty. It completely violates every concept of the sanctity of the family, and it completely violates any concept of parental authority. It completely violates any concept of the Constitution and protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. Not even intended to get off on that, but that just really grinds my gears. Now, we can shift gears just a little bit, Rob. What I do want to talk about in the last few minutes